Saturday in London town. It's another overcast but very humid and sticky hot day. We had another batch of weird little sort of cold weather, and then, well, I say cold, like chilled weather, and then we're getting hot again, and I think it's a bit all over the place at the moment. So I think maybe these might reflect that a little bit compared to what I normally wear. But I'll start off with one of my absolute favourites. I actually, so the last time I wore this, I broke the chain, but I ended up repairing it. It was quite easy. But this is Jardin. This is one of my favourite perfumes. This is one of my 20 for life. I love this perfume. It smells, it's so easy to wear. It's slightly bar soapy, but it's got like a fresh, juicy, fruity juice kind of smell as well. Quite floral, but in a really beautiful blossom way. Smells like spring flowers, tropical juice, and a delicious kind of creamy musk. And it's got a perfect level of sweetness for me. I'm obsessed. I love this perfume. I highly recommend it to anyone who sees it. This isn't the original cap because this is a tester bottle, but the original cap is also rose gold, but it's kind of square. I just love this perfume. It blew me away when I blind bought it at first, and it's been one of my favourites ever since. My husband also really likes this one. So the notes here, top notes are kumquat, pear blossom and lemon blossom. Middle notes of cactus flower, jasmine and wild rose. Base notes musk, woodsy note and coconut. I think the coconut might be what makes it creamy, but I don't think it actually smells like coconut, this one. It smells like kumquat and blossom and musk. It's just, I find it really sexy. And if I wear this, I wear it all day. Lasts really well on clothes, actually, this one. I think if I just sprayed it on my clothes and went ham with it, it would just last all day. But I do like to wear perfume on my skin, so I think I normally put a bit more of this on at maybe lunchtime, and then maybe like before I leave work. So I mean, you get like a good 4 or 5 hours on your skin. Especially, this is at its best 100% in warm weather. Sometimes the musk in it's a bit much when it's like incredibly high heat, and that's the same for all perfumes, but generally speaking, I wear this in warm weather. It's just delicious. But I also really like the Aqua Colonia Starfruit and White Flowers, which has a very similar kind of smell but without the muskiness. So when I want to wear this and it's really, really high heat, I'll just go for that one. So lush. I love Jardin. So yeah, that's one of my favourites. It's one of the bottles of perfume that I have backups of. A backup of, I should say. And then let's have a look. All right, so when I was still on my soapy train, actually this was the last one of my soapy perfumes, because I carried on, like last week I was in a real soapy perfume mood, and this week not quite so much. So this was the last one that I wore where I was like, oh, I think I'm over this little mini phase of everything being all kind of soapy or lotiony, you know. However, I do think in terms of like a perfect level of sweetness in what smells pretty much like a peach and rose bar soap, or peach and rose body lotion. This is so pretty. This is Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo, Love at First Glow. You only seem to be able to get these in 30ml bottles. I love this bottle. I think it's super cute. I really like the colour. The colour is exactly how this smells. It's delicate, but again, in hot weather, this one lasted for ages. I could smell this on me all day. I didn't even reapply this one at lunch when I was at work. I just think her perfumes, I think, are pretty tenacious in the hot weather. This Glow range anyway, because they are all very soapy body lotiony. Just think it's so pretty, and it's one that probably when you first try it, you'll be like, it's all right. Which is how I felt about it. And then when I tried it again, the more I wore it, the more I was craving wearing it. And I just think it's so pretty. I really like Love at First Glow. I think it's a really good perfume. A very good little cheapie. But yeah, very strange you can only get it in tiny, tiny little bottles. So let's see. What are we going to go for next? Let's go for... this has turned into one of my warm weather easy reaches when I want to be sweet. So this is Bruno Banani, and this is Woman's Best. So these are the new bottles of Woman's Best. The old ones, I actually have a bottle of the old one as well because I wanted to compare. They smell pretty much exactly the same. It's a different shaped bottle, a nicer bottle to be honest. But I think all of the Bruno Banani perfumes are being rehoused in this style bottle. This is sweet but not too sweet. It's fruity but not too fruity. It's like creamy. It's just so easy to wear. It's such an easy reach. As you can see, like I've made a decent dent in this, considering I actually haven't had it for that long. I love this perfume. I think I don't know why. There's just something about it that's just very, very easy and tasty. I'm just trying to get some separation on here. I probably don't need this much room between them. I'll put another little one up there. So the notes here, top notes, peach, orange and grapefruit. Middle notes, sorbet, pear, rose, pomegranate, blossom. Base notes, panna cotta, wild berries and sandalwood. I get from this a pear and blueberry sorbet. That's what that smells like. The pear comes through way stronger when it's hot. And to be honest, this is a perfume that I would not advise ever bothering to wear when it's not hot, because it just doesn't, you can barely smell it when it's not warm weather. This is definitely better for warm weather. You get rose and you get a fresh peachy juice, but not much. It's mainly, I would say, pear and wild berries, but I think it leans a bit towards blueberry. And I think in the photographs of this, it is actually blueberries. There's definitely a sorbet kind of vibe, but there's panna cotta, and that panna cotta just gives it this amazing creaminess. So this is kind of like the love child, the easy to wear love child of Signorina by Salvatore Ferragamo and Amore Amore by Cacharel. It definitely has a little bit of the vibe of Amore Amore, but it's much lighter. It doesn't have the patchouli. It's less citrusy, but it definitely has, in terms of like a rose perfume, it's kind of that way, but it has that lovely kind of fruity panna cotta rose vibe that's going on in Signorina, but without the patchouli and without the pepper. And I hate the pink pepper and patchouli in that perfume. That's what, because I love that perfume outside of that. Like if the EDT version of that wasn't the grapefruity cream one that is out, because that goes really screech on me, but if the Signorina that was an EDT was the original but without the patchouli and pepper, like a lighter, easy to wear, I think that's what this would smell like, and I would definitely have bought that perfume. So then when we had a colder evening, I just was craving this one, so I wore it, and then I was thinking to myself, you know what, the next day I just wore it to work, because I find it really difficult to wear American Cream by Lush. I find it very difficult to wear American Cream only once, because it's addictive. It's just so sweet and creamy and lush. I mean, Lush is, oh God bless Lush. In the West Country, we always used to use the word lush to mean lovely or like hot or like cute or, you know, tasty or whatever. And Lush is just perfect for this. American Cream, I don't like looking at the notes on Fragrantica, because I think it's absolute BS, to be honest. Like, it says milk, vanilla. The thing is, because Lush described this as a strawberry milkshake kind of smell, and I don't think it smells like a strawberry milkshake. I've said before many times, I think this smells like candied iris, violets and rose and lavender on a white fondant icing base. So it's powdery, it's floral, it's sweet, it's the tonka in it is really powerful. There's a little bit of vanilla, I believe, but I think it's the tonka that comes through most, and the Lush tonka is just so delicious. It's the perfect kind of sweetness for me that isn't too vanilla-y. So yeah, but it's definitely powdery, and I do think of it as a violet perfume, because I think the iris makes it powdery. You get that slight herbaceousness from the lavender, and the rose, it obviously gives it like a lovely floral vibe. But I think the violet, as it often is in perfumes, the violet is what really kind of comes across to me in this. And I think if you don't like violet, you won't like American Cream. But someone in my comments asked me why I described it as a violet perfume, and it's because there is a compound in this that smells like violet. Even if they don't list violet, and I think that one comes through really strongly. But I'm obsessed. I love it. I love wearing it. So I was really glad that it was a bit cooler so I could wear it again, because I can't, it's too sweet for me and too powdery for me in really hot weather. I'm just not very good with powdery stuff in really hot weather. So okay, then what have we got? Let's do some of the big bottles. Let's look. Let's start with, oh, it's always a good day, and there's never a time of year when I can't wear this perfume. Oh, holy hell. This is another one like Guest Air.
Katy Perry's Indi. This is my big bottle. So I've got lots of 30ml bottles of this. I've got this massive 100ml, which is like really heavy. You could use that as a weapon. And I also have a little, I think it's a 10ml tiny little bottle that I take to work. I think I'll be done with that one quite soon, to be honest. Interesting thing about this perfume, apart from the fact that I think it smells like coconut, and quite a few people do think it smells like coconut, but a lot of people don't at all get coconut, and they just get a lovely kind of creamy, almost like a sandalwood, even though there's not sandalwood in this, like a musk and wood kind of beautiful skin scent. People also always say that this doesn't last, and I don't know, it must be my skin chemistry or just the way I smell it, but maybe this is just one of those perfumes that people really go anosmic to, because I can smell, if I get this on my clothes, I can smell it literally weeks later. If I get this on my coats, and then I like don't wear the same coat or jacket for like a few weeks, sometimes even a month, I'll put it on and I will know if I was wearing Indi the last time that I wore it, because Indi lasts forever on my clothing. And on my skin, it does get more skin scenty, but I get at least 6 hours out of this, which is pretty good for a celeb perfume that cost me like, I mean, I think this 100ml bottle was like 10 quid, which is insane. So this is a Coty perfume, and it is an eau de parfum. Oh God, I'm obsessed. I just love this. I've said before, but my friend described this as the smell of teenage desire, when you fancied all the boys and you wanted to sniff their t-shirts, but you could never get laid. Except, you know, I've not got a problem getting laid when I wear this, but that, she said, that is the smell of it. You know what I mean? So top notes: plum, white tea, bergamot. I mean, plum, white tea and bergamot. Talk about my kind of perfumes. Oh my god, Lush. Middle notes: white cedar extract. I think that comes across like sandalwood personally, something about the mixture of this. Lily of the Valley and cyclamen. I don't really get many florals here. And then musk, white musk, black musk, Egyptian musk, island musk, and tonka bean. You get a ton of tonka bean here. It's beautifully sweet. So the votes for this, musk is way high up, which is fair enough. Then it's cedar, then it's tonka, then it's plum, then it's tea. And then you've got a bit of a drop down to the other ones that you don't smell a huge amount. I do get a bit of plum. The white, I guess you do get that kind of vibe that you get in Elizabeth Arden white tea with this. It's so comforting and easy and comfy to wear. So it's almost cold. I always think that it smells like coconut cream out of the fridge. I will never stop singing the praises of Indi. I think it's one of my absolute all-time favourite perfumes, and I discovered it when I'd already started this channel, so I talk about it quite a lot because it's just heaven on earth. I'm obsessed. I love it, and I just respray it all day. I came home, I didn't change it in the evening. Even if I'd have had a shower, I wouldn't have changed it, and I very nearly wore it the next day because I just love it so much. But I have so many perfumes, so I didn't wear it the next day. So next on the agenda is one that I wore one of the evenings last week, and I was inspired to wear this again because I bought something that smells like it. So I'm going to talk about both. So it always annoys me there's a bubble on the front of this. Can't get it out. Snow Fairy by Lush. Absolute cracker of a perfume. It's such a good one. Snow Fairy is... it just smells like sweeties. I mean, they list on Fragrantica this is, which I'm never sure how trustworthy it is, but it's... what does it say on this? It doesn't really help, to be honest. And nor do any of the ingredients, because, let's be real, some of the Lush body sprays are not very natural smelling, and that is totally fine, but they're much more synthetic. This actually has musk in it. Does it list? It doesn't list musk on the Fragrantica. So on here, there's perfume, lime oil, synthetic musk. Yeah, so I think a lot of what's in this is the perfume, like the synthetic perfume. So the notes on Fragrantica say cotton candy, sweet notes, cherry, vanilla and pear. You definitely get pear, you definitely get cherry. I mean, it's sweet, but I don't think it's vanilla-y. It's much more cotton candy-y. And it just smells like the pink foam shrimps from like old British sweets, like candies. They're just delicious. They're some kind of fruity pink sweet. This is delicious cotton candy, absolutely Lush. And I was thinking about it because I got this. Now, this is from Treacle Moon, and it's called Frosted Candy Angel. And as you can see, it's very much the colour of the Snow Fairy bubble bath and shower gel. I got this one because my husband's favourite thing for his bath is Snow Fairy, but Lush Snow Fairy, obviously it only comes out at Christmas, and it is quite expensive. Like for a bottle this size, I think it would have been like at least 25. I think the big ones are like 40. And you do get a lot in them, but as you can see, I've had one shower with this and he's had one bath, so he does rinse these things. He gets through a lot of them, and we cannot really afford to be spending 40 quid on something that he's going to get through that quickly. But because he loves the smell, I saw this I can't even remember where what was I looking for? I think I might have literally been searching for Snow Fairy on eBay, and this came up, and someone very helpfully had said it smells like Snow Fairy. These are £3 if you get them from Treacle Moon, and they do smell. It smells like Snow Fairy. It's not identical. Smelling it from the bottle, it smells almost identical. In the bath, not quite as much, and it's not quite as strong, but it's £3 for 500ml, so it's not a massive cost. I also got some others from here, just in case you're interested. Obviously skip past if you're not, but I got one called Honeycomb, that's amazing. I got a papaya one, that's delicious. I got one called Ginger Morning or something, and I don't recommend that. I think it smells like a cleaning product. I just genuinely really don't like that. I got one that's raspberry, I think it's like supposed to be raspberries and cream. That is delicious. What was the other one I got? Oh, and a coconut. I think it's like coconut and mango, or coconut and papaya or something. Absolutely scrumptious. Smells like an Escada perfume. So the only one I didn't like that I ordered was the ginger one, because it smells like something I'd clean my bathroom with, and I really don't like that. It's quite a bright green, so I'm just going to get my husband to use it when he needs something really fresh. But for me personally, I loved the Honeycomb. This one absolutely smells like Snow Fairy. It's also, if in the UK, if you wanna ever try and buy Snow Fairy, if you want to know what Snow Fairy smells like, then this is actually quite a good dupe. Snow Fairy, the actual, all the products, and this does smell a bit nicer, but this Treacle Moon stuff's pretty good. Anyway, I had to run to my bathroom in the middle of this video to get that, so right. Anyway, back to perfume. Sorry, I do like to go off on tangents, don't I? So then, what else did I wear? On one of the cooler nights, I wore this absolute beaut. Oh, I was just in a real lavender kind of mood. I just wanted to wear something lavendery. I wanted to wear something scrumptious, cozy, warm, sweet. And I mean, this was, it was just a day where I just felt chilly. It's called Chill Out, but I prefer it because it's quite sweet. I prefer it in, colder weather normally, but I was really in the mood. I just really wanted a delicious, comforting perfume. So the notes that they list in Chill Out, this is by Oriflame, by the way, from the Feel Good range. They just list lavender in the top, vanilla in the middle, and base notes of cedar. And you can definitely smell those three things very clearly. I feel like there's probably more notes in this. I might have actually... It's very possible that I have found more notes for this, and I might have noted them on Fragrantica. So I might just have a quick check now. But this is the one that smells very similar, but I think slightly nicer than Guess Seductive Noir, and therefore also smells quite similar to Montgalon. This one is actually unisex, and I think some people do find, maybe just because of the lavender and the, I think lavender is often used in male perfumes, so I think some people find that quite masculine, Montgalon, and they struggle with it. So if you find that with Montgalon, you'll find it with this as well. But I just think this is so beautiful. No, I can't find any more notes for that, but I mean, lavender, vanilla, and cedar pretty much explains how it smells. It's just delicious and warm and really pretty. And then let's have a look. We've got a couple of... Oh, these last three are all actually quite new. So, I mean, I don't actually have a full bottle of this, but I have from Hermès and Jardin Cythère. I don't know how to say that. I'm going to just make a pig's ear of it, so sorry about that. This one, it says a hint of golden grass, olive wood and fresh pistachios. It's very citrusy as well. So I think the notes literally, let's have a look. I don't think it gets much more complicated than that, to be honest, in terms of what they list. Although I do suspect that it is considerably more complicated than that. So olive wood, like green accord, citruses and pistachio. I think the wood in this, okay, let me just start from the beginning. I thought I wanted a bottle of this. Not when I first sprayed it. When I first spray it, it's like, oh God, I love these bottles. So I wanted to smell this one anyway, but I have a number of samples from this collection because I want at least 3 of this collection. I've done like little videos, but I needed some that I knew I already wanted because I'm going to do a video that kind of relates to them. But they're very expensive and they are on my wish list of things like when I'm flush or when someone wants to buy me a nice fancy present, you know, because they're quite light. I'd only wear them in summer, but there are 3, 4 if you include this, that I absolutely love from the Jardin collection. But they're pricey. So I was thinking, I do kind of want this one. I sort of love it because you spray it on, you get, genuinely, I think, the smell of stale biscuits, stale pistachio biscuits, olives, and sharp citruses. So when I first sprayed it, I was like, I don't know about this. I don't know. It smells a bit biscuity. It smells a bit stale. It's just kind of quite boring citruses. And that olive is weird. Let it dry down. Oh, my goodness. It's so pretty. It's such a gorgeous, sweet, pretty skin scent. It's lush, perfect for summer. Really pretty and bright, but it is technically, when it dries down, I would say I do think there might be musk in this, to be honest. I'd be interested to know what other people think, but I think it's probably a citrus wood, like it's a citrusy woody perfume, right? And I do get a bit of a musky impression here, but there's a slight sweet and unusual vibe from both the pistachio and that slightly herbaceous and odd vegetal smell from the olive. But in the dry down, that all becomes very well blended and beautiful, and it's just absolutely lush. And I was like, I'm adding this to my list. I might have to try and get a bottle. And because it's quite an odd smell, I noticed that you could get like the smaller bottles and some for sale on eBay. And they're because it's new, there are some deals for this one. I thought I might just invest. And then I wore it for a full day this week. And it just really I say a full day, an actual, like a daytime. I wore it in the daytime at the weekend. And then, I was like, this reminds me of Covet by Sarah Jessica Parker and Shade by Lush. It has that same kind of vibe when it dries down. And I'm like, I don't need it. I love it, but I definitely don't need this because I have a little rollerball of Shade and I have a lovely little bottle. I have a rollerball of Covet and a bottle of Shade. So I don't need it. But I can see now why the people that I've heard say it's delicious are also the same people who I think really quite like Covet. And Covet obviously is a chocolate perfume, but it's also like a woody citrus with some sweet florals. And Shade is a sandalwood perfume with a lot of tonka bean, and there's definitely citrus, and there's herbs and like green notes and smoky notes in that as well. But this is like a real summery version of that kind of scent profile. I absolutely love it, but I don't need it. So that's my little review of that one because it's just so pretty. Let me just put that one over there. Just covering things up, but hopefully not too much. Okay. And then let's have a look at this. So I thought I'd talk about this one because I have been testing it every now and again just to see how I feel about it, because I just put up my haul video that had the little Miller Harris's in. So I also wanted this one from TK Maxx, but before I actually managed to buy them and order them, this one had sold out. So this came up at the same time. This one is Miller Harris Hidden on the Rooftops, an eau de parfum. So let's have a look. This has got another one. It's Hidden on the Rooftops, a trove of privet and violet, lure for the bees they call bumbling, and yet far more wise than I. My companions flicker through the flora, utterly in the pollinating present, panning for golden nectar. Lovely bit of poetry on these, very pretty. So, I mean, doesn't that just sound so charming? And I tell you what, is kind of charming. So this is another super cute little bottle. Notes in this one. So, top notes: lime, angelica, bergamot, red berries, clary sage, violet leaf and black pepper. Middle notes: tea, pollen, honeysuckle, syringa, I don't really know what that floral is, privet, honey, Turkish rose. Base notes: driftwood, vetiver, sandalwood, musk and ambergris. Those notes sound so fabulous to me. And I saw someone having a bit of a hissy fit on Fragrantica about pollen, saying pollen doesn't have a smell. But I'd say, well, there's a lot of things that don't have smells that perfumers say have smells, like camellia, for instance. Yeah, it's just a synthetic note. There are many synthetic notes. Doesn't mean people can't smell it. So I definitely get angelica in this. I get a sense for the tea. I do get a sense for that pollen. There's quite a lot of lime in this. Honeysuckle's quite high up. It's soapy. That's the angelica, I think. It's sweetened by the honey. I really like this. However, on my skin, it pulls out quite bitter woods. Oh, it's really pretty in the box. Oh my goodness. I was Claire Smith commented on one of my videos, on the video with these in, and said they've often got blackcurrant in Miller Harris, and I really like blackcurrant, and I quite like their blackcurrant. But this is actually one of the rare occasions where there's no blackcurrant. They've got red berries, but it's not very high in the mix. This is lime, honeysuckle, angelica, pollen, tea, and a bit of actual honey. It's so pretty in the box. On my skin, this does not smell good. And I was really sad because I sprayed it on and thought, oh, that's unusual. I kind of like that. I totally feel like bees would come and try and get pollen from me. That's how it makes me feel. Like super pretty, really polleny. But on my skin just doesn't seem to work with this. I mean, I might try it at a different time of year. I might try it another time. But in order to get this, I actually ended up getting 2 of these little bottles, so I'll put one of them on eBay for sure. And the other one I'll keep, and just like this one, because I've sprayed it out now, I'll keep this one and I'll try it. But I really like it in the box. I think it's absolutely delicious, and it lasts for ages on my skin, this one. But I'm not sure if that's just because when I don't like something, I feel like I can smell it forever. And like I said, it did not work on my skin when I tried this, but there is a magic to that one. Claire, actually, if you're watching this, you might really like this one. I think it's beautiful, and it does smell like a garden full of flowers, polleny flowers, and you know, you're sitting there with a lovely slice of tea, like iced tea, with a big old slice of sharp lime. It's so pretty. Didn't work for me though, so that sucks. So then, what do I have now? Last but not least, by any means at all, is this. Now, I don't very often see people talking about philosophy body sprays, and I've been noticing them online and on eBay and a number of different places, but for some reason people never seem to talk about them. And I think these are something that QVC sold, so I mean, they are real philosophy, but they're just body sprays, right? Body spritzes. And I think these are supposed to be moisturising in some way. I don't know. But this is Fresh Cream and Mint. And I got this on eBay, but I have some others on their way to me because I want to do a proper review of their body mists, body spritz that you can get in the UK. These are so perfect for me, and the reason is that when I like to wear very sweet perfumes, I don't necessarily want to smell like that for a whole day, and I don't necessarily want it to be massively strong. You know, it will make me feel a bit queasy if I smell really, really sweet all day. And in a way that's incredibly noticeable. But what I do like is when I want to wear something comforting is to have a light, very sweet perfume. So I have a few now. I've got quite a nice selection of really, really sweet perfumes. But the ones that are actual perfumes I can only wear in cold weather. Sometimes I do get, especially in the evenings, I get a desire to smell very, very sweet. And occasionally in the mornings, if I'm feeling a bit rough, I want to smell sweet, but I don't want to smell strong. Creamy, minty. If you don't like mint in perfumes, you won't like this. If you don't want to smell like a mint pudding or a creamy mint cocktail, or I don't really know how to describe it. I mean, well, what I did was I had a little search, because again, there's hardly any information about this. There's hardly anyone talking about them in videos. I did find a couple, but this one, I found a thing on Amazon, and it says this indulging blend of creamy vanilla, peppermint, sweet macadamia and spun sugar is a smooth, silky treat. And it is, and it's so delicious. So I'm hoping that this is going to, the rest of the batch, you can have a look on, just search on Google, because you can get this really good price. This cost me £7.50 for this whole thing. And oh my God, it's just so delicious. I can't stop sniffing it. I did just get it all over my face though, so that's not clever. But it's so scrumptious, so delicious. I highly recommend it. I think it's absolutely lush. So yeah, I'm really excited because I've ordered... Oh, I won't tell you what I've ordered yet, because I'll wait until they actually arrive, and then I'm going to do a proper video and I'll get it up as soon as possible. Because if you like super sweet perfumes, but you want some super summer appropriate ones, I reckon these spritzes are going to be perfect. Yeah, so that was my week. I've had a really nice week. I've worn some absolutely tasty things, and what have I got coming up? Oh, I've got the last of my Lush, not the last of, because I might make one with limited editions at some point, but my last kind of, my standard Lush perfumes, that video is going to be up this week. Then I have yet another declutter, and then as soon as I've got the other Philosophy ones, I will make that video and get that up as soon as possible, because they're super like affordable at the moment in the UK. You can get them like super cheap. So, well, cheap for Philosophy anyway. So I'll get that up so you can see my review in case you guys want to buy it. But if you like fresh, creamy, but like sweet and creamy perfumes that actually smell like creamy vanilla or custard or something like that, and you really like mint and you're not worried about smelling like a candy cane, this is £7.50 on eBay in the UK, and you can get it some other places as well for pretty cheap. So, it's absolutely lush.